talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me on tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, you feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me on tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, you feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around.
Okay, hi everybody, welcome to Geeksvana Live, and for this breaking news live update on the Microdrone 4.0 situation. Great to see everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us, especially at this last minute. We already have a comment directly from Vernon, despite the fact that he was unable to respond to comments on the IGG page today, or indeed our own email. Hi Sean. Sean is mischaracterizing. We have already committed to production, and it doesn't mean refunds are available. The campaign is in prototype stage while the current adjustments are being made. Okay, would you therefore like to explain why I have an interview with you, Vernon? If everybody would like to go to the following link, because I'm actually having trouble playing it out. I will try it very briefly. If you go along to this link, what I just tried to...
So 1, 2, 3.
Playing. Bear with me. Very cool.
So there we are. I'll be posting more footage and videos of the drone, like hands-on, how it works,
Yes.
how you control it, and I'll be making more videos of that so you can see.
A few questions on the Indiegogo side of things, and talking more about some of the people that are upset with the delays and that type of thing. Under the terms of service of Indigo, it does state that campaigners must respond promptly and truthfully to all questions posed by contributors. We have been approached by several.
I think one of the biggest things that a lot of, well, some backers are not happy about is the terms and conditions of Indiegogo. So some people are angry that they can't get a refund, and I've explained the refund policy before, and they're just still not happy with that. They say, like, I don't care, I just want a refund and give it to me, or I'm going to carry on being angry for the rest of forever, right? And the problem is, this is the clear Indiegogo refund policy, and we had to have this because once we started production, we committed that funding to the production. So immediately after the campaign, we wrote the check for the tooling, and that started, and all of that money.
So as we have there, we have a confirmation from Vernon in the interview that it is the Indiegogo terms which are holding it back from it. Now, my issue here is that, of course, we've all logged on to the Indiegogo page today, and thank you very much to the backers who have let me know that has happened, only to find, quite shockingly, that the campaign has now been moved back to prototype stage. Now, I've been informed reliably today by other people who have experience of the Indiegogo situation and have had other campaigns and had other dealings, that this isn't necessarily something which has happened because of the campaign owner's own action. So Vernon, as you are in the chat, would you like to confirm whether or not it was your action to move it back to prototype and why you have done that? And would you also like to confirm in the chat why, despite in interviews with myself and on countless Twitter feed arguments with myself and other creators, why you have confirmed that it is Indiegogo tying your hands in terms of refunds, and that once it's marked as in production, that you cannot do it. You've also given that answer countless times on the Indiegogo comments page, countless times. Well, the great news is, Vernon, your hands are no longer tied. You now have the ability to issue refunds to people as you rightly should do, frankly. So Vernon Kerswell, please stop stoking negative messages. Okay, I understand that. That's irrespective of the campaign status. We committed to production as soon as we finished the campaign. Again, in your own words, you are stating that it is the Indiegogo terms that have stopped you. You have also given many answers to those comments on there. I understand if you don't have the money, but you need to come forward and say that. If you say, I'm not giving refunds because I can't afford to give refunds, okay, but that's a different situation here and a whole different other legal aspect that needs looking at. But frankly, the fact that this is the first time which you've decided to rear your head in public and answer our emails on this recently is astounding. In the last video put out by Geeksvana, we updated everybody that we were looking into helping those overseas backers who were looking to get UK court action underway. That process is happening. There will be an offer going out to those over 500 backers who have already contacted us. And we have also confirmed that in writing to Extreme Flyers to give them an opportunity to grant refunds to those people rather than costing the campaign money of having to go to court. Vernon Kerswell, you keep giving incorrect statements telling backers that they can get a refund, and that is not correct. Well, Vernon, could you tell me where on the campaign page your refund policy is? Could you tell me right now in the chat where your refund policy is stated on the campaign page? Because it isn't there. In actual fact, when I went looking this morning just to confirm things, one of the things which has... I rarely use the word infuriated. I think a lot of people who know me, a lot of the backers have got to know me over the last 12 months. A lot of my viewers who are watching as well have also done so. And the fact that the FAQ doesn't actually talk about refunds. It simply makes up, we have created a page to answer all comments that contain abusive language, profanity and false allegations. Fine, I can understand why you do that. What are the full specs? A rundown of the latest specs are listed on the update page 20, on the page update 20, thanks, and that's it. Did you steal our money and make false advertisements? Are you seriously putting that as an FAQ on your own page? and you don't see a wider issue here. No, there was a delay prior to the outbreak of COVID-19, which we apologise, and we started building drones in November. The current hold-up has been caused by the shutdown, staff vacancies and logistical challenges, which has meant our production facilities have been unable to fully function since January. Progress is being made, and as soon as things resume, we'll be ramping up production to look forward to shipping. That doesn't sound like someone that's saying we need to put super glue in the frame, which you have put on the Indiegogo page, that you were looking into glue being injected as one of the solutions. That doesn't sound like your most recent update, which was bare minimum, had no flying there, had no flight time, etc. But again, had changes to the actual body. Again, Vernon, could you please confirm in the chat, just very, very simply, a very simple answer, if you're able to give one, and I thank you for being in the chat actually, but if you could please confirm in the chat whether or not you can confirm 100% it was you or Indiegogo who have moved the campaign status back to prototype. Could you please confirm that? Otherwise, I'm not going to give air to any more of your questions, any more of your statements. Have to list all questions, even ridiculous ones, seeing as you keep posting. Well, okay, if you have to list all questions, where is the question regarding how do I gain a refund? What is your refund policy? Which is actually in the guidelines from Indiegogo for campaign owners. Indiegogo themselves state that you should have that listed clearly on there. Where is it, Vernon? You haven't answered that question. Stop misleading people. Okay, I would ask you to stop misleading people. Where is the refund policy stated on the website? You can tell me that. And could you again also confirm whether or not it was yourself or Indiegogo who actually moved the campaign back to prototype, rather than just typing nonsense in the chat, as much as I appreciate you being there. Again, let's just have a look at this excerpt from the video where you confirm it is Indiegogo that are tying your hands.
So you just do that. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3.
Very cool.
So there we are. I'll be posting more footage and videos of the drone, like hands-on, how it works,
Yes.
how you fly it, how you control it, and I'll be making more videos of that so you can see.
A few questions on the Indiegogo side of things, and talking more about some of the people that are upset with the delays and that type of thing. Under the terms of service of Indigo, it does state that campaigners must respond promptly and truthfully to all questions posed by contributors. We have been approached by several people who feel they haven't got answers to their questions. They've been answered. No one is saying you don't answer them, but that they get a very general response back rather than answering the specific issues.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of, well, some backers are not happy about is the terms and conditions of Indiegogo. So some people are angry that they can't get a refund, and I've explained the refund policy before, and they're just still not happy with that. They say, like, I don't care, I just want a refund and give it to me, or I'm going to carry on being angry for the rest of forever. Right.
I would also like to confirm that when this first interview came out, this was actually backed publicly by Vernon. He even put on the comments page, this was an excellent interview by Geeksvana, and then recommended people go and watch it. It was only once he sat back, perhaps somebody else watched it for him and said, did you realise you said this, this and this? And also after our second interview, which was based on the questions raised specifically by backers. It was only because of those questions that the second interview even happened. And frankly, if you felt like the first interview was a setup, if you felt like it wasn't fair, why on earth did you come to the second interview? Because that was a lot harder, frankly. Vernon Kerswell, we have been very clear and transparent about refunds and explained from the start that backers can request a refund up until we start production. Once you buy tooling, you have to move forward. I understand that. Why is it in the interview with myself, many other conversations which I have made public over Skype Messenger, and lots of comments you have made on the Indiegogo page, you constantly blame Indiegogo for the fact that it is in production and that therefore your hands are tied. My hands are tied. I cannot offer refunds. Could you please, with all of the things that you're managing to put into the chat, could you please confirm? Otherwise, lose all credibility. Frankly, at this moment, you will lose all credibility. Can you please confirm whether or not it was Extreme Flyers or Indiegogo that placed your project from production back to prototype? I would 100% welcome a truthful answer to that. Whilst we're waiting for that answer, we'll just check on a couple of the other answers and in the chat here and questions in the chat. Let's Fly, invested third party here. Vernon, for your own legal protection, it appears to me it appears it may be wiser not to communicate in this informal channel at all. I completely agree with that. And Let's Fly. Sorry, you actually said uninvested third party here, which is great advice, frankly, and that is advice that we have given Vernon several times through some of the information that he has shared with us, which we haven't gone public with, frankly. Otherwise, it puts the project at risk for all backers. Yes, again, could you please answer that question, or is your credibility not something which you are attached to? We are simply asking you a very simple question. Was it yourself, Extreme Flyers, that put the project from production back to prototype? Or was it actually IGG? We made the decision to commit to tooling several months before we started our first production run. Yes, Vernon, the question is, who changed the status on the IGG page? Was it yourself or IGG directly? And was it under IGG direct pressure? Simple answer, which again, you seem completely and utterly unwilling to answer. Refunds, in Vernon's terms, of course, are closed. We are happy to report that the continued success of those backers who are taking Extreme Flyers to small claims court, they are still succeeding. They're taken generally through mediation. They're generally taken through the extra 14 days for the defendant to answer. But then before this actually happens in public, it is actually the claim tends to be paid in full with expenses. We've noticed a couple which have including one story of a backer who actually had to comment on Vernon Kerswell's personal advert for a parking space in London to let to say, hey, you haven't paid my county court judgment, which has been confirmed against you, which then got paid. So it seems there's still an inconsistent policy happening there. Okay, so we do not have an answer from Vernon as to whether or not it was Extreme Flyers Limited or it was Indiegogo who pushed it as far as actually moving this campaign back to prototype. Perhaps somebody at Indiegogo has been seeing all of the Twitter rants, all of the interviews he's done on this, where he states that it's down to Indiegogo having it in production, the fact that he then cannot offer refunds. Who knows? Feel free, anybody who needs to clip that part of the video. If you need a download of the actual interview itself, let me know and I can send you a Google Drive a link for that for anybody's claims, be it county court or otherwise. So that really is the update. The campaign has now moved from production back to prototype, and as per the words of Vernon Kerswell many times on social media, on the Indiegogo comments, and in interview with Geeksvana, and also in direct message with Geeksvana, which has been released to the Microdrone 4.0 disappointed backers group on Facebook, the full conversations showing that he is claiming that it was Indiegogo stopping refunds. There is now no more excuses, frankly. Please stop using inflammatory language. I think I'm actually fairly calm on behalf of many thousands of backers. And this is the thing that I think sometimes you don't understand, Vernon. You talk about small groups of backers. Okay, well, there has already been a substantial amount of backers who have succeeded in county court claims, which you have settled. So they have been successful in receiving their refunds. There have also been many that have had chargeback confirmed through their credit card companies. The letter which went to Indiegogo, the first letter on behalf of backers, had hundreds of backers signing it. And as I say, as of this morning, we have over 500 international backers wishing to join and actually pay money to actually potentially get their refund back. These are people that are willing to put more money in to get that money back, just essentially to stop this campaign from being able to scam other people, because this has moved across into a scam, frankly. And your insistence to come in the chat today purely to troll, to not actually give any kind of real answers, and indeed not answer the only question that I am asking you to answer in the live chat, which should be a simple one. If you are still in control, if you are still 100% in control of your own Indiegogo campaign, you should be able to state in the chat, there should be no problem with that, that it was yourselves that moved it back to prototype as of your own decision and nothing to do with Indiegogo having any kind of input or pressure, or in fact Indiegogo doing it themselves, frankly. You should be able to put that in the chat. And the fact that you can't, well, that to me speaks volumes to myself and presumably to many of the backers and people watching right now. Retrospect VR, a quote from Vernon Kerswell himself. I have a screen grab. Sean's recommendations are highly provocative, mostly incorrect. The project cannot be put back to prototype. We are already in mass production. Yes. And this is something which has often been a comment which has often been made, unfortunately. Binky Smith also has placed in the comments about his 10,000th comment T-shirt, which he was promised. I don't know if you would be able to sort him out with that, Vernon. That sounds like a flippant remark, but it's yet another promise which you have been unable to put forward. So I'm going to read out a few more of the comments, which is going to take me another 60 seconds to 2 minutes. I'm going to ask you again to look at whether or not you can answer the question, Vernon, as you are in the live chat. Very, very simply, are you still in control of your Indiegogo campaign? Has the decision to go from production to prototype, how do you explain that, please? Can you please now explain it, because you haven't commented on it directly? And whose decision was that? Was it purely Extreme Flyers, or was it under pressure from Indiegogo? Up to you to answer these questions. First of all, I'm just going to play out that video again.
So you just do that now. So 1, 2, 3.
Very cool.
So there we are. I'll be posting more footage and videos of the drone, like hands-on, how it works,
Yes.
how you fly it, how you control it, and I'll be making more videos of that so you can see.
A few questions on the Indiegogo side of things, and talking more about some of the people that are upset with the delays and that type of thing. Under the terms of service of Indigo, it does state that campaigners must respond promptly and truthfully to all questions posed by contributors. We have been approached by several people who feel they haven't got answers to their questions. They've been answered. No one is saying you don't answer them, but that they get a very general response back rather than answering the specific issues.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of, well, some backers are not happy about is the terms and conditions of Indiegogo. So some people are angry that they can't get a refund, and I've explained the refund policy before, and they're just still not happy with that. They say, like, I don't care, I just want a refund and give it to me, or I'm going to carry on being angry for the rest of forever, right? And the problem is, this is the clear Indiegogo refund policy, and we had to have this because once we started production, we committed that funding to the production. So immediately after the campaign, we wrote the check for the tooling, and that started, and all of that money was that was like go, right? And we said to Indiegogo backers clearly, once we start manufacturing, once we commit to manufacturing, that's the window of refunds. So we said you can get a refund up to the end of the campaign, and that's when.
So there you go. That I think is fairly categoric in terms of his comments in the actual interview. And as I say, this is repeated across the Indiegogo pages, comments, and pretty much wherever people will listen to him on social media. So yes, also interestingly enough, in that same interview, if you go through to, I think it's about 28 minutes, Vernon does actually talk about and does answer my question as far as whether or not the product itself is relevant anymore, because that was one of my issues. I felt that perhaps there should be a refund because the product just isn't relevant anymore. And he does clearly state that they do need to get the drone out within a couple of months for that to be the case. And we are talking about a video which was published on my channel in March 2020. So I think we are now past that point, Vernon. So as I say, I'm going to give you that time to answer the question. You've just actually stated in the chat that you are here. I'm here, no, I think you mean now. Let me know if there are any questions. We've asked you the question, so please do ask it. who moved the project back to prototype. If you do not answer, we'll have to take the assumption, unfortunately, that means there's something you don't want to tell us about why the project was moved back to prototype and who did that. But while I give you a minute or two to answer that, I'm going to very quickly read out a couple of the comments. Marcel Roberts: anyone can make a robot spin motors, but seeing it actually work and reviewed by others is key in any drone company. This guy is a dreamer. We need dreamers, not scammers. And one other question for you, Vernon, as you are taking questions, is when will we see more footage from the drone and full footage of it being shown, being recorded by another camera showing it flying, and a full battery depletion? And also, you promised several months ago to show the drone hovering in a mirror, to show those who were doubting some of the footage that you had released. Again, that hasn't been seen yet, so if you'd like to confirm when that would be coming along, we would really appreciate that as well. Other comments on here. Thilo, good to see you. Can you show pictures of a fully assembled working drone, implying you want to resume production? Retrospective VR. I love how a Sean video can make Vernon come out of his hole when weeks of comments from angry backers get nothing. And that really is the main reason why we've tried to stick with this, because for some odd reason, when we do make a video and we do update people, he will come out of his hole. I think the concept behind it is who is seeing it. Honestly, that has become my viewpoint on it. That when it's on a Facebook group which is closed to a few hundred people, that of course is only a small audience. Even on the Indiegogo comments page, perhaps other investors in Extreme Flyers, perhaps even Indiegogo themselves, don't have time to go through every comments page. So again, it's a smaller audience of core people who are raising questions at that time. And I think one of the issues is that a publicly listed video can be seen by anybody. So perhaps that is why. That is one assumption I can make. That's only offering an opinion, because unfortunately we don't seem to get those answers. Vernon Kerswell: Sean is making false accusations. That's why we must defend the project. Well, defend it. Answer when you're going to put the footage up. Answer your own backers within this live stream right now. Within this live stream, I see so many names of fantastic people who have backed your project. And what winds me up is you are, and you ask what my motivations are. You've asked if I'm being paid by DJI, if DJI would pay a channel with a couple of thousand subscribers. Please, DJI, I'm over here, please sponsor us. But you ask what my motivations are. My motivations are that I love this hobby and I love drones. And it is something which has given me an awful lot of enjoyment in my life. It's helped me in terms of my health, both mental health and physical health. And it's something that since I flew my first drone, which is hanging here on the wall, which is a Bebop 1, sadly now with a crashed camera, it is something which has brought me an awful lot of sense of achievement. It's moved me forward in so many different ways. I love it. I love the tech side of it. I love the aerodynamics. I love there isn't a part of droning that I don't love. What I also love to see, since I've been running my channel, are people coming into the hobby. And what disgusts me is the fact that you have had the opportunity to send some kind of drone. Okay, it was never going to be a Mavic Mini or anything else like that, because again, it was never going to cost as much, fine. But you had the opportunity to fulfill a lot of hopes and dreams of people that have invested and backed the project. And the way that you're treating them is you are treating them as if you are a scam, frankly. And that upsets me, because these people deserve an awful lot more than that. Also, as somebody has, Bernard B has just put into the chat, clearly this is not in production. Sorry for the rant there, people, but I had to get that out there. Clearly this is not in production. And yes, we can confirm that the Indiegogo page agrees with you now. And sadly, throughout all of this, we have still had no kind of situation, no kind of confirmation in the live chat where Vernon Kerswell campaign owner is, confirming why it has moved to prototype, who moved it to prototype, who is now in control of his campaign page, if it is still himself. any of the facts, and he is also still unable to provide information as to whether when a meaningful update will come, not just a picture showing some holes in an airframe, showing the drone flying, which is promised. Bear in mind, this is a drone that back in 2017 was said to be in his own campaign video, which is still on his page here. It's this little video. You won't hear the audio from it, but this little video here. In this, he actually confirms that it is the project is campaign ready, and that it needs a small amount of money to move it into production. That clearly wasn't the case, or if it was the case, this is the other thing which I don't get. If you've come across problems, you should come to your audience. You don't realize actually the experts you have in your backer community. You have some kind of complex which seems to think that only you can fix those problems, and ironically, you've got so many people within your backer community who are highly skilled people. Some of the people that I've spoken to, and some of the jobs they have, and some of the experience they have, is incredible. And if I were a campaign owner, I would want to open things up like other people have. Vernon Kerswell, we have a great team and community. Okay, Vernon. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because you did state earlier that you were having issues in one of your other updates with recruitment and that side of things. Right at the bottom of your page here, you have a Meet the Team section. This is the one where you actually used to sign off every update for, until that is one of our second interview with you, where we asked you specifically who these people were, and you confirmed that they'd either left the company. You confirmed that they had either been interns that had left the company over a year ago, or were contractors. And contractors thing, that's fine. That's not a problem at all. To bring intelligent, hardworking, capable people in, sometimes you have to bring them in as contractors, etc. I understand that. But again, of these people that is on this page, which you haven't updated, could you confirm how many of those people still work for the company? So I just need to let someone's message come through here. Just to let for our wonderful moderators, we are okay a little bit to have a bit more leniency on things. There are some words which I know some people want to use. Our moderator has instructions from our normal live shows. Elsmek had no warning we were coming here, but I'm fine for things to be a little bit more language based than normal, a little bit more crude language than we normally have, because frankly, Geeksvana needs to be one of those outlets for these people. So again, yes, if you could confirm who these people are actually working there. Look what we did with the Zano drone. Our team was able to take that apart. Okay, Vernon, you need to leave this live chat. You need to leave, because you are starting to damage yourself here quite extensively. So Vernon Kerswell, this is a comment for anyone that's rewatching this. You'll see the chat along the side here, but this is a comment from Vernon Kerswell, campaign owner. Look at what we did with the Zano drone. Our team was able to take apart that failed project and make it work just for fun. Isn't that impressive? What would have been impressive, Vernon, is if you and your team had taken the time that took and put that time and effort into the Microdrone 4.0, or indeed the Microdrone 3.0, because if you look at the Trustpilot scores for the last drone, the Microdrone 3.0, and the campaign page, it's a very similar story of people who feel very, very upset and feel very disappointed in the projects, frankly, and the product that they received. So no, that isn't really impressive. Taking someone else's failed project, because frankly, the bones of that project could have been far better than your project even is now. You are stating something to be impressive, a bit like your trademark claims. You're stating something to be impressive when there is nothing there, frankly, which is not. Sorry, if you come in my live chat and you comment on things, you are leaving yourself open 100% to my opinion and comment, and that is what you're going to get, frankly. So a couple of the comments before I feel everybody in the chat, do you feel like I've given Vernon enough time to answer those questions? So the question of who changed it back to prototype, are you still in control of your own Indiegogo campaign? Are you under any kind of sanctions from Indiegogo? My list will get bigger every time I ask these questions. And when will you be releasing the full footage which you've promised, including the mirror footage, and as Bernard B asked earlier on, to actually just show a drone together in your hands, time-stamped somehow, etc., showing that there is indeed any kind of drones, even if they need little tweaks in the airframe like you're claiming, to show that any of them are actually in physical existence yet, and show that drone flying, no matter how bad it is at the moment. If you can't give us timelines on those things for the backers, and you can't you can't answer those questions, and instead all you're doing is putting in my live chat that you are that how impressive is the fact that you were able to get the Xano drone flying, then I'm sorry, you're just talking nonsense here, and you seem to be spinning your wheels, frankly. Please wait until the adjustments are finished. When will that be, Vernon? When will that be? And why aren't you asking? You know, it's clear you're listening, because you are putting comments in about the fact that you feel that I'm being misleading, etc. But it's also clear that you are not answering the questions. So again, I don't want to take up too much of people's time in this run up to Christmas, but I wanted this move forward, whether this might not be necessarily the best move forward in terms of everybody getting their money back, unfortunately. If this is a move by Indiegogo to move the campaign status as it shows here, I should use my hand there actually, back to prototype, then I feel that might be some kind of sign that the project is actually now beginning to no longer be in Vernon Kerswell's full control, and it could possibly be under IGG sanctions. Vernon is normally happy to correct me on anything, absolutely anything even remotely incorrect or misleading that he feels that I'm saying, but yet he is not answering those questions directly in the chat. So I would leave everybody who frankly, I treat my audience and your own backers as intelligent people. I will leave them to make their own assumptions on that. Okay, well, just the last couple of bits in the chat there. Georgie, hi Georgiev, good to see you, sir. Vernon, give me my money back. And I think that really is all that these people want, Vernon. They just want an access to their to the funds that they've put in, especially with the 2020 everybody has had. You've had commenters in on your IGG page, and to comment on that page you have to be a backer, and an active backer, so someone that hasn't been refunded, who have told you that they are standing in food lines. Can I please have my refund? You know, you could do an NDA with that person and just give them their refund back, just out of the goodness of your heart, but you didn't. Instead, you did the 10,000th t-shirt campaign, where you offered a t-shirt for the 10,000th comment, which was obviously mainly complaints on your own IGG page. Sadly, you never delivered that t-shirt either to the winner, Binky Smith, but there we go. Vernon Kerswell, Sean, that is what you want because you want the project to fail. Whether the project fails or not is actually not in my control. Whether or not the project satisfies any of the backers, should you ever produce a drone, is actually nothing to do with myself. It is down to your work, as simple as that. Vernon Kerswell, there was another one here. I have already explained that we have built tooling. You're not answering the questions. You keep asking an impossible thing. Okay, would you not agree that your own online accounts at Companies House show the business is in healthy, I won't say exactly how much and exactly the financial circumstances, but it certainly shows that you are in cash holding enough to refund the hundreds of backers that I'm in direct contact with. So I'm sorry, again, to me, I'm not asking something impossible at all. If it is impossible because you're never going to release a drone and because you can't afford, well, then that's a whole different situation that you need to take very serious legal advice over to take the next steps as a responsible company director. Simple as that, Vernon. You really do need to look at your situation, and you need to look at where this is going to be going. Okay. Right, I rattled on long enough for a couple of days before Christmas. Thank you very, very much for everybody for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Vernon, for joining us. Quite bizarre, frankly. Unfortunately, I have to confirm at the end of this that we do not have an answer to whether or not the campaign was moved back to prototype from Vernon's own actions, or whether it was pressure from IGG. And also, as per the clip I have played, we can confirm that it was Vernon blaming IGG in terms of stopping refunds. Well, that blame can no longer be there. He's already shifting it to the fact that they've already spent the money, which is another whole other legal issue there, frankly. So I just want to say an absolutely, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate the next few days. I'm hoping 2021 will bring brighter things for both the backers of the Microdrone 4.0 and everybody in the world. Frankly, we all deserve a better time of it. Thank you very much for everyone's support on this story and across the channel throughout 2020. I really, really do appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. So all the backers, all now need to go across to your IGG page and again ask the question and try and gain the answer. Who moved the project back to prototype, and is Vernon still in full control of his own campaign? Thanks everyone. See you soon.